You're listening to Bigfoot Society, and I'm Jeremiah Byron. Tonight's account comes from James, a regular guy from Missouri who thought Bigfoot was just an internet mystery until the woods started watching him back. I'm not going to really say what happens in this one, but I'm going to say it's an important interview for a few reasons that you'll find out later on. Things are talked about that I think are going to really affect how people view Bigfoot after this interview. So this is the story of what James saw in the Ozarks of Missouri and why he'll never look at the woods the same way again, so stay with us. All right, Bigfoot Society, you've got the privilege of talking to James today. James is an individual that is a listener to the show over on YouTube, and we got connected about some things that have happened to him in the state of Missouri. So thank you so much for coming on the show, James. How's it going today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. It's a great day, able to talk to people about their encounters. Can't beat that. So, James, I want to make sure you have the time to share things that have happened to you over the last few years. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to you so you can take us back as far back as we need to go, man.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate that. Well, my story is, I've got 4 episodes that I can share. None of them are particularly, shocking or anything, but they are absolutely true, and I would like to share them. So the first one happened about 3 summers ago. I was painting a house. Well, me and a couple of guys were painting a house out on OO Highway right outside of Springfield, Missouri. And it's a big house that's on one side, on the back side of the house is a sheer bluff, like a cliff that goes down to a river. The front side of the house, he's got this big pond that him and his wife had stocked full of bass, and it's so full that literally when you look down in there, you see so many small bass, you wonder, like, how are these things not cannibalizing each other? Like, they're going to have no problem surviving if they need to survive off this pond. So this particular day, we'd finished for the day, and everybody had left except for me and my buddy Cliff, who was working with us, and we were down at the pond. And it had just started raining. It's drizzling, though, nothing heavy. And as soon as the drizzle started, from across the pond, we heard, hoo, 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 an owl. And I thought, oh, cool, an owl. It's kind of strange for it to be out during the day, but, I'm not a wildlife expert. So I hooted back, hoo, hoo, hoo. And then it hooted back at me again. And so I did the exchange one more time, and then it exchanged one more time, except this third time it went, hoo, 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 oh, like this frustrated sounding, like, growl thing, like almost as if like it just realized that I was a person. And the guy with me, Cliff, he says, whoa, that's not an owl. And I looked at him and said, yeah, I know, I think it's a Sasquatch. And he just kind of laughed at me and said something like, oh, whatever, there's no Sasquatch. So that was literally it for that episode. That in itself is not too significant. But the following summer, my girlfriend and I and our son went camping at a place called Coy Bald. It's in Kissy Mills, Missouri. And by this time, I've already been watching some shows and stuff, and I know a little bit about Sasquatch, or, a little bit that I've learned from other people. And so as soon as we pull up there, I notice we get out, we start setting up the tents. And this is like, it's in the Mark Twain National Forest, and it's pretty secluded. There's nobody else out there. It's a very wide but slow moving river, but it's like, knee deep in some places, waist deep in others. Anyways, we get out there and we're setting up, and I hear bang, bang, bang coming from the other side of the river. I think to myself, oh, that's somebody's out there shooting a shotgun, but it sounded kind of weird. It had like almost like a muffled quality to it. So it sounded somewhat like a shotgun, but different. And we heard it a couple more times as we were setting up. Bang, bang, bang in threes. I didn't really think too much of it. Later that evening, the sun had already gone down, and we were sitting by the fire, and I heard it a couple more times from across the river. And I thought, well, that's strange because there's nobody out here. It's dark, and who the heck is out there shooting a shotgun? And then we got to talking about it, and I realized, well, you can't really shoot a shotgun in that quick of a succession. you have to pump the chamber or whatever, pump the rounds in between. So it'd be more like bang, bang, bang. Whereas these were bang, bang, bang. So, okay, we talked about that, thought it was a little weird, laughed it off. About 2:00 in the morning, and I only know it was about 2:00 because my girlfriend told me afterwards, but it was the middle of the night. We wake up to hoot owls. But the weird thing about it is there's like 5 of them, and they're surrounding our camp. And these things sound like they got to be like 50 pounds to be this loud. I mean, it's just ridiculous loud. Scared the crap out of us. So I get up out of the tent. I'm walking around with my hatchet in my hand. It quit as soon as I went outside, of course. And that was pretty much the end of that one, with the exception of the following day, we hiked upstream a little ways, and we came across this muddy spot in the riverbank. And we noticed that there was like a bunch of deer hoof prints and a bunch of like slide marks, like there had been some kind of scuffle there. But the strange thing about it is we did notice also that there was a bare footprint in the mud amongst those deer prints. And like I said, there was nobody else out there but us. But the thing about this bare footprint, it wasn't super large. I mean, if anything, it was maybe just a couple inches larger than my foot. And I wear a size 10 and a half sometimes. But just that alone, it just, with it, coupled with the other things that happened, it just seemed, it really stuck with us. Yeah, so we just kind of chalked that up to Sasquatch, especially the thing with the hoot owls. And another experience, which was a few weeks ago, my girlfriend and I went out to a place in Ava, Missouri called Assumption Abbey. We found it on a campsite website, and we went out there just to poke around and look for rocks and see if there was a good place to camp. Well, apparently there's a monastery out there I didn't know about, and we found a road where it says road closed, but we drove down it anyways. We ended up at the river, and this particular incident wasn't what I would call like significant, and there's a lot of open-ended stuff about it. But anyways, my girlfriend and I, we were down by the riverbank looking at rocks, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, it smelled like somebody just took a big dump right there in between the two of us. Like it came out of nowhere. We were stationary. We were not walking. And I didn't really think too much of it. We were just like, phew, man, what's up with that? And then immediately, like, I felt dizzy. Like I almost passed out, literally. And my girlfriend had the same experience at the same time. I didn't realize that was going on with her because she immediately just walked over to the Jeep and sat down. And I'd stayed on the bank and continued to look at rocks. But then, like 2 or 3 minutes later, I walked back up to the Jeep. I was like, man, that's so weird. I told her what happened. She said, yeah, that's why I came and sat down in here. She said, I felt like I was about to pass out too. So we got out of there. That was the entirety of that story. Now, the final one is a little bit more significant, I would say. It was on July 14th. The sun was just getting ready to start going down. It was still, light out. And we were at Fellows Lake in Springfield, Missouri, which I don't know if you're familiar with that place, but it's really not that far outside of town. I mean, there's houses within driving distance for sure. So we were sitting in the Jeep at the spot that we had our first date, just kind of reminiscing. And where we were parked at is kind of like a little channel in the lake. And the bank basically is about half a football field distance from where we were sitting. And the crazy thing about this is, only several football fields distance to the right were people fishing. So we're sitting there and we're looking across the water, and my girlfriend says, hey, what are they doing? And I look over and I see these 2 people waiting in the water on the other side of the lake. We just had a bunch of storms, so the water was really high. Everything was trashed down here, or it was at the time, trees, and it was just a mess. But these 2 people were waiting around on the other side of the lake and waist deep in the water. And the thing about it is first of all, you're not supposed to be in the water at this lake. Secondly, like it was gross because of all the storms and stuff. And we noticed that, well, both of these people seem to be dressed exactly the same. They're both wearing like this brown garb, and they both had, at first, it looked like they had bald heads because they had like this lighter colored patch up towards where I would assume the head would be. But the more I looked at it, I realized that there was more to them above that light colored patch. And when my girlfriend first saw it, she was like, what the heck? We stared at them for a minute, and they were just kind of walking around looking straight down into the water like they had lost something or perhaps were looking for something. Their movements through the water were a little weird too. The way that they walked, it was like, I don't know how to explain it properly, but it looked different than a person wading through the water. It's just that there's just so much ease to it. It was weird. It's hard to describe. So the strange thing about it is, we're still staring at them, and they walk to the shore, and one of them he stays in the water and he's facing towards the shore, and the other one gets up, the other person or whatever gets up out of the water. So this part's going to make me sound crazy, but I don't know how else to say it. As we're looking at them and he's standing up out of the water, as he's coming up out of the water, he seems to be disappearing. My girlfriend's like, I don't see him anymore. I said, no, he's there. I can see him standing there because every once in a while I see a little bit of movement, so I can see that he's there. And then the other person, whatever, gets up out of the water. It's the same thing. They're both there. I could barely see that they're there, but at the same time, they don't look like they're there. And what I mean by that is, no matter which way they turned or were standing, it seemed like they were the exact same color as the background. And it's not like the background was just all one color. Like I was looking at just the bank and trees, but there was like fallen logs and all kinds of other stuff that were like, different textures and colors and stuff. It just didn't make sense to me, but that's exactly what happened. And they both stood there on the bank for a little while. And, I can't say for sure, but I just had the sense like we were just staring at each other. And then they both just kind of walked backwards into this black spot in the trees, and that was it. Wow. My girlfriend swears up and down that they were aliens. That's what she thought at first, just because like the way they were moving is so weird, and why the heck are they even out? Like, so on this side of the lake, for them to get out and they walked into the woods, that other side of the woods is nothing but woods for miles and a highway. There's no way for anybody to get over there, and there's nowhere for them to go.
That is extremely interesting. So I want to make sure I heard what you said right, because it is really, really interesting. So you're saying they were coming out of the water, and as they were, you started to be able to see almost through them, like whatever was in the background behind them?
I guess that's one way to put it. I feel like it was more like they were just so well camouflaged that no matter which direction they turned, like they just blended right in. And that was the first thing that clued me into the fact that they probably weren't people.
Absolutely. Have you ever seen the movie Predator?
I have.
Okay, so like the how it's kind of like shimmery and when it's
it didn't seem like it. It didn't really seem like that though. Like, see, so I've been thinking about this for a while since this happened, and the only like logical thing that I can come up with, and at least close to logical, is I wonder if perhaps like maybe there's something with their fur that has like a certain type of sheen to it, where like maybe light spectrums hit it a certain way, and it kind of like in a way acts like a mirror or reflects the color qualities of whatever they're around, perhaps, or something. I mean, that's the closest thing I can come up with for a logical explanation.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that they can just disappear.
It's very strange. It almost sounds like when you hear people talking about, potential cloaking or things like that. It's just, wow. It's probably the coolest example of it that I've had come up on the show, to be honest. And you said this just happened. This is a few
July
weeks
14th.
ago. Holy mackerel.
Yep.
Oh man, dude. That's so recent.
And for any of the listeners that want to know where this is, So if you go to Fellows Lake, when you pull up on it, you can either turn right and go. There's like a road there, or you could make an immediate left, and there's a dirt parking lot. Well, if you turn right, there's like 3 spots where you can pull off in a car and look at the lake, and it's the spot farthest from the corner. The third spot is where we were sitting, and directly across from there. That's where we saw them.
And so the area they came out of the lake and then walked towards the woods, it wouldn't have been easy for you to get over there.
No, we drove around and realized there's literally no way for us to get over there unless we were to get in a boat, cross the lake right there, and then walk up through where they walked up into.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, we'd be trekking through the woods for, hours and hours and hours.
Absolutely. I mean, the first thing I'm thinking is like, wow, what if you go over there, you're going to find tracks, like you're going to find, I mean, who knows what you're going to find in the woods with a sighting like that. That is so very interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I wish I had a boat, but the thing is I'm not sure that you're allowed to even have a boat on that lake. Like I've only seen people fishing from like the bridge and fishing from the shore. I've never ever seen anybody in the water.
Oh, and another point would be, we don't even know if you're allowed to go over where they were. So, I mean, if anyone's going to try to be Indiana Jones, probably do your own due diligence so you don't get in trouble. But which means research it, guys.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not trying to condone anybody breaking the law or doing anything. I don't see how you would even get over there without a boat. And these 2 dudes or whatever, they did not have a boat. Neither one of them were like large by any standards. I mean, I was a half a football field away, so it was hard for me to gauge their exact size. But if I had to guess, I would say they weren't much taller than myself, and I'm 5'11".
Okay. So when you saw them come out of the water, but you couldn't see them the entire time. My question was going to be, if they were coming out of the water, were you able to see like anything, like any water coming off the hair? Maybe it would have been too far away anyways to see that. Yeah,
it was definitely way too far. I couldn't even see any details like facial features or anything like that. All I saw was that they were both uniformly brown, except for this like light colored spot, which I don't know where that would have been, because there was like at least another foot of body above the top of where this light spot was, which we thought were bald heads at first.
Are there any military installations around there?
I couldn't say for sure.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of, though.
Did they seem to be interacting with each other at any point?
Well, maybe when they were getting out, because the one had gotten out and was facing towards us, which was the opposite bank, while the other one stood facing it, is still in the water for a minute. Well, probably about 30 seconds.
It sounded like you've alluded to that they're moving very weird, and it's hard to describe. Correct?
Yeah, kind of like an effortless fluid. Like, I've heard people say that about like the way they walk on land, and I've seen videos and stuff that I haven't really seen any evidence of that, to be honest, in people's videos and stuff. But the way that they were moving through this water, it was like they weren't even like, with people, you gotta walk. You can see them pushing their momentum, with their legs and stuff like that. Whereas it looked like these things were just on a conveyor belt or something, just easily just kind of gliding through the water. And I know that water was deep and like not easy to walk through. It had to have been muddy from all the storms. It just didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Absolutely. I mean, so this interview is really unique for this show, at least. It's the first time I've ever talked to someone who has described that while they're in the water, because, people will describe that on land, as you said, but they'll even, I've heard people say where it's like, it looked like they were almost like cross-country skiing. It was still so smooth. But you're saying that smoothness was also when they were in the water as well.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't see what their legs were doing, obviously, but it was like it was like somebody had a toy and was just kind of moving like a shark fin under the water, just moving it along. But they were looking down as if they were looking for something, like looking straight down into the water.
Gotcha. Were they doing anything with their arms at the same time?
Man, I can't say that I remember for sure.
Okay.
I mean, nothing like significant or anything. Just moving along. I guess I kind of feel like maybe their arms were even just kind of straight down, like not even up out of the water. Because I don't remember seeing like hands or I don't know. It was such a strange thing, and like we didn't even think to pull our phones out until they had already like stepped into the woods. It was just so shocking and weird, and the whole time we're just staring real hard, trying to figure out what's going on, and it was strange.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you, so it sounds like there's no recorded, nothing recorded from the event at all.
No, the only thing that happened was like afterwards, Chrissy thought she saw one peering out from the bushes from across the bank. So she pulled her phone out and tried to zoom in, but we both have one of those new Razor phones.
Yep.
And the camera's really not that great. Like she showed me the picture and I couldn't see anything that was significant. Like I could see what she meant when she was pointing to it. Like it looked out of place, but for anybody else to look at the picture and not be staring right there at the spot, there's really no reference point. It would just be a brown blob. So there was no point in referring to it, I guess.
Gotcha. Did it seem like there may have been other people that saw the same event? Like you look over, you see people on a boat, they're pointing at something, anything like that?
No, there's no boats on the water. A few football fields to the right, there was people fishing on the bank, but I didn't even think to look over there to see what anybody else was doing. We were just like glued to this thing. And it the way I describe it, it seems like it lasted probably longer than it did. But I mean, the whole thing was maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes long.
Oh, wow. Is this area known for Bigfoot sightings or interactions at all?
I don't know. I mean, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Gotcha. I mean, we weren't there like for any other purpose other than we were just there reminiscing because that's where we had our first date years ago.
Absolutely.
The funny thing is though, my girlfriend, I've been talking about Sasquatch for probably 3 years now.
Okay.
And she's been laughing about it, the whole time until we went camping last year. And now she's like 100% believer. And she even refers to me as like a Sasquatch magnet because it seems like every time we go out, there's like something happening now.
I definitely get that. So when you say you've been into the subject for 3 years, like you're listening to things or how far into the subject have you gotten?
Yeah, just like listening to podcasts and watching videos and stuff like that. Like I'm not like a investigator or anything like that. Although I'm definitely much more interested now. Because the whole thing with the camping and the owls and all that, like I feel like that was pretty significant, especially if someone were to be there and hear how loud these owls were. There's no way they were owls. Not to mention, I've never heard of owls like traveling in groups and surrounding camps.
I've had that same thing happen where you have the owls around your camp and it sounds like they're huge, and it is absolutely. It can get pretty scary. I mean, that happened up in Iowa. Same night, I had something walking around my tent. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. It's very, very, very weird stuff. Is anything else out of the ordinary happening? Any other strange things besides things that are Bigfoot related happening to you?
No, not really. I mean, I guess I could mention that my kid and my girlfriend have been saying that there's weird things happening at the house, but I mean, they've been saying that for months now. And I don't know. As far as the paranormal type of stuff goes, I try to just ignore it because I feel like if you give it too much thought and energy, that if there's something that's happening, then you're just all you're going to do is perpetuate it more.
Yeah, no, I get it. You're kind of already there though. And not to freak you out, but it's like you're at the point where if I hadn't known that, I would have said stuff is probably going to start happening or potentially could start happening. But so are these like orbs or shadow things or?
No, they say that they're just hearing weird noises and stuff and things moving around the house.
Oh, okay.
When they shouldn't be.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
But, the world's a strange place lately. I mean, we got this, like, my girlfriend comes back all the time where, he's telling me, oh, there's a light in the sky following me. And I just kind of write him off. And then I hear him telling his mom, so low. And I don't know. I try to ignore that kind of stuff because I don't want to perpetuate it. Like I said, it's all my life this is going to make me sound crazy too. I've kind of been sensitive to a lot of that stuff most of my life. And I've learned to just ignore it. Because when you ignore it, it goes away.
I get it. I 100% get that. I mean, keep in mind that if you are listening to Bigfoot, I think maybe you could be ignoring certain parts of the phenomenon. But on the other hand, you're definitely not ignoring whatever's happening with the Bigfoot side.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely. So the funny thing, Jeremiah, is like, so when we went to Assumption Abbey, I guess it was a little more than a few weeks ago, the place where we had the smell and we both felt dizzy. On the way home, I looked at it, I said, man, things have been getting crazy lately. I wouldn't be surprised if our next incident is an actual sighting.
Oh, wow.
And I said that kind of jokingly or whatever. And man, a couple days later, couldn't believe it.
That's wild. So this Fellows Lake area, do they have people that work there, the equivalent of rangers down in Missouri or anything like that?
I've never seen like ranger type people. It's more like it's a well used, like they have a public area, like a couple different parking lots you can park in. And then if you go like the opposite direction that we went, there's an actual like park area where you can pull in. There's like picnic tables and it's a pretty large area, but it's on kind of another portion of the lake. Okay. But the place that we were at, it's pretty generally populated, but I just don't ever see any like official type people over there.
Gotcha. So not a thing where after that happened, you'd be like, oh, let's talk to the guy over there, see if other people are having weird stuff like this happen as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for at least a few days to a week, I don't know. This is going to sound weird too, but I somehow completely forgot about it, and then reminded me of it, and then we both kind of marveled at how did I just completely forget about this thing?
That is a pattern that does come up sometimes. Sometimes you'll forget certain things. Maybe it's like your brain wants you to forget it, and sometimes after something like this happens, people will go to sleep really quick out of nowhere. It's very, very strange how the human body and mind reacts.
Deals with stress and trauma.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Well, the thing is I don't remember feeling like, I mean, I was amazed by the whole thing, but I wasn't like, I would put this 100% shocked because, like I said, I've had a couple other incidences before and I kind of almost felt like, it was coming.
And especially,
but at the same,
you go ahead.
I was just going to say, but at the same time, I wasn't really keen on like telling everybody,
I 100% get it. And that makes sense what you said, especially if you're saying you're a sensitive individual, even though you have been kind of pushing it to the side. It makes sense that you would get that feeling that'd be like, okay, something is coming. We're probably going to have maybe even see something and boom, it happens, right? Totally not.
I mean, what are the chances that I said those exact words and for that exact thing to happen? I mean, it just makes this all sound that much more like, fake or something. But I
wouldn't say so.
True.
I think it's a thing where, to me, it sounds like you're an individual that is just trying to work through things, figure out what it is that's going on. And sometimes that can get really confusing. It can get really weird. And you just need to make sure that you're grounded to the right thing while you're working through that.
Yeah. Well, plus I've recently come to the conclusion that like, it's not going to do anybody any favors. Like in every other aspect of my life, I thrive on honesty. and being a straightforward person, even to the point of like sometimes it works against me.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I want to take this over to, I think it would only help for people to know. So I want people to know where it happened, and I want people to know that it happened. And not because I want everybody out there looking for Sasquatch or anything, but the more people talk about it, the more people realize that it's happening like right where they freaking live. Like maybe people will start being more open-minded to it. And then maybe as more people are open-minded to it, we'll start getting a little closer to whatever the truth is in that situation.
Oh, 100%. And maybe even someone will reach out and be like, hey, Fellows Lake totally had a sighting there too, and things like that. Even though it seems like a small deal for that person to reach out, it can be a huge deal because it can help, James be like, okay, what I saw was actually there, and I can deal with this, and it kind of works both ways. So if people have had things happen around that Fellows Lake area of Missouri, please reach out to me. It's bigfootsociety@gmail.com. You can send me an email. But yeah, James, this is some pretty wild stuff, dude.
Yeah, and also, if you don't mind, I did want to take a second to say that, anybody that's listening, if you're from the area and you're curious, or if you want to share with me as well something that happened out there, so feel free to email me. I'll talk to anybody about this at this point.
Absolutely. Is that a thing where you would want to provide that email address? It does get a little bit daunting for me to try to pass on information all the time.
That's fine with me. If we want to just say it on the air right now or whatever, that's cool with me.
Sure.
Okay. It's echelonsymbiotics@gmail.com. ECHELONSYMBIOTICS@gmail.com. And no matter, how crazy it may seem what you have to say or whatever, just feel comfortable reaching out to me if you feel like doing so. I'd love to hear from anybody that's had any kind of experience in that area.
And that's the Springfield, Missouri area, or more specifically to that lake area?
Even just the Southwest Missouri area, because we go camping and stuff. Like I said, that one thing happened in Kissy Mills, which is down Mark Twain, which I believe was like southeast of us.
100%. Oh man, James, I want to make sure that you were able to share all the things that you came on the show to share today.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow. I love ones like this because it's just a few weeks old. It'll be cool to see if other things come out of this. But James, thank you for being willing to come on the show and share what you're going through, what you've experienced with your girlfriend. I appreciate the chat today, man.
Hey, no problem, and I appreciate you being here so that we can talk about these kind of things.
Hey, Feather, how are you? Hey, thanks for coming up. Do you mind if I? Yeah. Do you mind if I potentially use this audio for my Bigfoot podcast I have?
Oh, absolutely. Thanks.
Yeah. What brings you up today? What would you like to share?
So I moved to Florida, North Central Florida. I don't want to give away my exact location, but from Texas a little over a year ago. And the critters here are different. And so I'm sitting out on my back patio. We have a screened-in patio here in Florida because of the exorbitant amount of insects. And we have a privacy fence, and there's this palm tree, this I forget it. This palm tree on the other side of the fence, and it's happened 2 times, 2 different nights, like several nights apart. You know that sound that alien makes on that Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
I heard it. I heard it twice. I don't know what it was, but that's what I wanted to share.
Oh my goodness. have you nothing, no like wavy mirage moving around, right?
It's dark. It's black. I have little lights on here, but we don't have floodlights yet. I know we have a lot of marsupials and rodents and raccoons and things like that that'll come around the fence and in the yard. And I've heard critters lose their lives and then being carried off through the woods. I mean the jungle. We live in a jungle. So
Wow.
Florida is a freaking jungle. I love it. And I've heard a lot of strange things out here. I mean, I can go conspiracy on you. If you stay up late at night, you can hear some things. But I heard that particular sound twice. And also, here's another creepy thing. So with these lights on the back porch, they're like Christmas lights, so they're darkly colored when they're lit up. So you can't really see outside. But there have been whatever animals coming up in the yard up to the screen. And they're not raccoons. Because I can shine a flashlight out there, and they're larger, and I don't know what they are. It's weird. It's very strange out here. Just coming live from Florida.
Absolutely. Do you have any, a good way to get stuff not to mess with your place is to put up game cameras. I don't know if you're able to do that.
Yeah. Financially, I'll have to look into it, but
Absolutely.
I would love some, those, not those noculars, the night vision ones.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Definitely want some.
I say game cameras because the IR on them will scare some stuff off, sometimes. So might be worth
I
looking
don't want
into.
to scare them off. I want to see what the heck they are.
Oh, you want to see? Okay, so you want them to? Okay, you want them there. All right.
Yeah.
I got you.
I'm from Texas. This is cool.
You're like, bring it on. Well, that's good stuff. Well, hey, let me know if you see the predators.
I'm used to coyotes, and small deer, bobcats, copperheads, things like that. An occasional jaguarundi. But out here, I'm telling you, these things will eat you.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
We're Louisianans. I mean, we got gators, crocodiles. I've seen tree people. Shadows in the trees and stuff. I can see those out here.
Tree people. Wow, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. Spiritual creatures. They're you'll have to look it up. It's under folklore and legends and stuff.
For Florida.
Yeah, this up in Georgia, there's some strange stuff going on. A lot of conspiracy about this stuff, just like Bigfoot. And I have looked at photos of Bigfoot, and I've seen footage of people showing some movement in the trees and stuff like that. Very realistic, because I can tell the difference between anything touched up. Being an artist. But anyway, I've seen a lot of things that I know it's real. So, because I'm very scared.
Yeah, you've got some interesting stuff going on there. I mean, keep me in mind if stuff continues to happen. You can always reach out through
Yeah,
through
I've got
emails. It's you got me bigfootsociety@gmail.com. Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't mind following me back.
Yeah, sure.
And if you want me to send you crazy stuff that I need help looking into, I'll send it to you. And I need some collaborators.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure talking to you.
We need to know. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, be in touch. Have a good one.
You too.
Good stuff, man. Some wild stuff going on down in Florida, it sounds like. Maybe be careful if you're going down there. As we are talking to people all over the U.S. right now, from literally coast to coast. Real quick, this is Jeremiah editing the episode. That last small Florida interview, I put that audio clip in there not knowing what it was from the latest TikTok live. And weirdly enough, both of them kind of have to do with the Predator movie. So it's kind of a weird synchronicity there, but just wanted to point that out. Just wanted to take a minute to say thank you for listening to this episode of the Bigfoot Society podcast. James' story is one that grabs you, not just because of the water, the whoops, or the vanishing figures, but because of how raw and recent it is and how close it happened to home for him. So huge thanks to James for sharing what happened near Fellows Lake, for being honest about how hard it is to explain something so strange when it happens to you. And if you enjoy this conversation, please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new episodes, and share this one with a friend who's into Bigfoot, Missouri, or the unexplained in general. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please make sure you're following the show there, and please leave us a 5-star positive review. It really helps the algorithm kick in so more people can find us. And now, if you or someone you know has had a Bigfoot encounter, especially around Missouri, the Ozarks, or anywhere for that matter, I'd love to hear from you. So please send me an email at bigfootsociety@gmail.com. I do read every one. If you haven't got a chance yet, please head over to www.bigfootsocietypodcast.com to see our new membership community. You just have to click on the members login in the corner, and that's where you can now find extra weekly episodes, ad-free early release episodes, and a place where you can just connect with other people that are into Bigfoot as much as you are. So thanks again for following along with the Bigfoot Society. And until next time, keep your eyes open, trust your gut, and never stop wondering what might be waiting in the water. And see you in the woods.